We're discussing HCL Technology's second quarter numbers, and with me is the management joining us right now. Ajit Kumar, President, System Integration and Applications, and Prithvi Shergill, the Chief Human Resource Officer. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. Ajit, let me start with you. Let's talk about how the quarter was qualitatively in terms of US, in terms of key geographies where you operate. What are the emerging opportunities that you are looking towards, and how this whole US economy revival is actually working in favor of the company?
Yeah. So from an overall headline message, I guess from an applications perspective, the business has grown by about 2.5% quarter to quarter, which is a change in trajectory if you look at over the last 3 or 4 quarters in terms of how the application business has been performing. I think it's a reinforcement of the strategies we have adopted as far as the marketplace is concerned. We have had a very focused offering at the run the business segment of the market around our Alt ASM offering, which is now beginning to gain traction, and we've had 13 wins over the course of the last 1 year. On the CTB side, I think we're clearly seeing that companies are looking at spending more money with the revival in the economy, as well as in order to leverage all the new technology trends that are happening. And our offering in terms of the digital systems integration is really targeted at the CTB market. From a geographic perspective, I think the US is showing definitely a lot of promise as far as spend is concerned. But however, they continue to look at ways and means of reducing the run the business spend and diverting those dollars in terms of changing the business, including by leveraging new technologies.
IMS has been the sort of a leader for you for now quite a few number of quarters. Does software services also go on and play an equally important role as the US improves, as Europe also comes back on its feet? Do we see even software services performing in sort of a sync with what IMS has been doing till now?
So IMS story continues to be very strong because there is still a huge rebid market, and we have a very, very strong value proposition as far as the IMS market is concerned. So I expect that over the foreseeable future, the IMS business will continue to perform very well. The applications business, as I said, it has basically shown a distinct and qualitative change as far as the growth trajectory is concerned. We see a lot of potential as far as the market is concerned. There is equally a rebid market as far as the application space is concerned, and with the early successes we've had with our Alt ASM offering, we believe we are positioned well to take advantage of that rebid market from an applications perspective. The digital systems integration strategy we think is well thought through, well crafted, and that could stand us in good stead as far as change the business is concerned. And with these two firing together, we are hopeful that basically the application business will continue to show the growth trajectory that we all expect from that part of the business.
Okay. Prithvi, I've seen the gross additions in this quarter much higher than what we saw same time last year. Can you run us through the strategy right now, as well as add a bit of color on hiring targets for calendar year 2014?
I think our hiring reflects the growth you've seen in our business. We've been following approach to make sure that our workforce planning and projections are very tightly linked to the pipelines that we see grow, and we continue to do that. So we will continue to hire well in time to ensure we have the appropriate trained and deployable workforce going forward. So I'm optimistic as well that the trends will continue in line with the projections that we see for our business.
Mm-hmm. Does it mean that better hiring targets for 2014 compared to what we saw in 2013 and 2014?
Yes, I think there is clearly an upward trajectory. I think we are seeing both in qualitatively as well as quantitatively, as we look at new propositions, I think we are looking to also add a different profile of skills into our mix. So we will see continued growth in our hiring projections as we move forward.
There's been a lot of talk about IT companies looking to move a lot of employees offshore. So on-site is going to be less of a focus, offshore perhaps more of a focus. Do you see that trend as well?
Given our business strategy and given the work that we do for our clients, we actually are not seeing that shift. We are actually continuing to see demand for workforce close to the clients so that we can do the kind of work that they're asking us to do in a more effective and efficient manner for them. So actually we are foreseeing a continued demand for people in country as much as we see growth here in India. So no, we don't see that in our in our picture of actually shifting the mix. We actually see it potentially going slightly the other way.
How important is the US immigration bill issue right now? I mean, it has been put on the back burner for some time. We've not heard much about it, but at one point of time, that was a real scare for the industry. Have you picked up anything when you talk to your clients overseas? Are they still concerned? Are you still concerned about that?
We're not concerned. I think we're just getting prepared for it, and as and when it happens, we've got a well laid out plan to execute around that. And part of that plan is what Prithvi mentioned, which is that we're looking at, for a variety of reasons, business as well as otherwise, to look at our onshore presence as well. And we'll continue to look at that in order to drive our business needs. And as and when the immigration bill comes in, as I said, the steps we have taken in terms of making our onshore presence more robust will not only help the business but also help to address some of the challenges that potentially come along with this bill. And secondly, we've got other plans in place which we could execute pretty quickly in order to address some of the concerns around the bills.
Between US and Europe, we've seen Europe performing better for you compared to US in the last few quarters. Does that trend continue as well?
I think that basically we are seeing equal amount of demand as far as the US is concerned as well, and we do see basically the US picking up, continuing to show growth momentum as we go forward. So I don't think we necessarily see that there will be a bias, any distinctive bias going forward.
Prithvi, we saw the company giving out a pretty generous wage hike in October compared to what the industry has done. What's the outlook there as far as wage hikes are concerned for calendar year 2014? You give out wage hikes during the course of the year at various points of time.
That's right.
How's the strategy going to work out this year?
I think we have been quite innovative about our reward strategy last year by moving to our performance management process and our rewards administration process to be on a staggered model. I think that has enabled us to continue to be very competitive in how we reward our high performers, and we will continue to do so. I think we continue to innovate in that space to look at new ways of making sure that we are identifying the people who are contributing the most and making sure they're recognized and rewarded regularly. So I don't see a shift in that strategy going forward either. I see that actually strengthening.
Coming back to the earlier point, can you help us understand the campus hiring target for this year? Lateral is a different thing, but when it comes to campus at the new joinee level, what's the target for this year?
So we have really looked at our workforce mix, as I said, in line with our demand. We continuing to see we've onboarded all our commitments that we had made to all the freshers that we had looked at earlier. We are now starting to approach people who are graduating 2013. But we've seen a fundamental shift in the way that you actually need to approach the kind of people we have. So our strategy remains to actually look at freshers on tap, so to say, to sort of go off campus more and continue to bring in people as and when we need them. So we haven't taken a specific, I wouldn't want to put a specific number to you, but I think we will continue to see hiring of freshers right through the year.
Okay. Ajit, let's talk about the alliance with CSE. There's been a lot of talk, there's a lot of excitement, and because the company hasn't really clearly mentioned the scope that this tie-up would actually cover. What all opportunities will you be going after? Would it mean jointly collaborating and going after orders, particularly in the rebate market? Add some color to this whole CSE tie-up.
So the CSE tie-up has probably broadly three elements to it. One is that we will leverage CSE's cloud offering. The second is we will work together as far as the application modernization segment is concerned. And there are some select industry verticals, for example, banking, where we will work with CSE in order to leverage our joint capabilities to bring better solutions to the market. So it is very, very targeted in terms of these three specific areas. If I look at application modernization, and if you look at the overall HCL strategy around digital systems integration, application modernization is one of the key elements of that strategy. One of the big inhibitors that customers have in terms of going digital is what do they do with their vast amount of legacy application systems. And legacy migration to the cloud or legacy modernization is a huge market that we believe will open up over the next couple of years, primarily to enable companies leverage the digital technologies that exist and the digital capabilities that exist. So there are capabilities that CSE brings to the table, there are capabilities that HCL brings to the table as far as this space is concerned, and we plan to leverage that jointly for the benefit of our customers. So in a nutshell, basically that partnership is very targeted. It will be focused at these areas. There will be areas where we will continue to work independent of each other, but in other areas, we will look at jointly approaching our customers with propositions in these spaces.
All right, gentlemen, that sums up our discussion. Thank you so much for joining us and wish you all the best for the year 2014 from all of us here at NDTV.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.